Good evening. I'm glad to see so many people here to learn about weather. My name is Dave Hansen. I'm the chairman for the MIT Enterprise Forum. On behalf of the MIT Enterprise Forum of Texas, I'd like to welcome you all here tonight to a fantastic program which I hope you will find educational, inspiring, and you will go back with some knowledge that you did not have before. The subject of weather is near and dear to a lot of our hearts. If you're a farmer, you certainly care about the weather. If you're somebody out in the Gulf and you're worried about what's going to be coming in, you're worried about the weather. And with some of the things that are happening with predictions on climate change and whatnot, there's also a lot of questions about weather and the climate change. And I hope that you will hear a little bit about what we're able to do as far as predicting what's coming, and also get an idea of what the state of the art is for prediction of weather and what you can expect for the state of the art in the future. Before we get started in our program, I would like to just spend a couple of minutes talking about the MIT Enterprise Forum. And then we'll bring Nick Tillman, who organized this program, up here, and we'll get started on the program. But I think there are a lot of you who have not heard about the MIT Enterprise Forum before. We are one of 27 worldwide chapters that's associated with MIT in Cambridge and MIT Technology Review magazine. And the mission of the chapters around the world is to put on great programs on technology, entrepreneurship, and also economics. I would say a lot of the other chapters really focus more on entrepreneurship. We do talk about entrepreneurship, but we also spend an awful lot of time talking about technology in our programs. So in order to do that, we do three things. We have flagship programs like you see here tonight. We have new venture clinics where we help startup companies with their business plans. And they come in, present their business plan to a group of advisors, and get feedback on what they're doing and what they could do better. The other thing that we do is have networking socials where people can come, mingle, and meet some very interesting people and make connections here in the Houston community. I would say, though, that our flagship program is probably our number one uniqueness here in the Houston community. And if you could go on to the next slide. And we'll talk a little bit more about the flagship programs in just a minute. There's one other thing I wanted to mention, and that is that you don't need to be an MIT alum to be part of our organization, or to be a sponsor, for that matter. This organization was started and created by MIT alums, but it has evolved into whoever would like to participate. And I'm a good example of that. I never went to MIT. I'm the chairman for the MIT Enterprise Forum, and I never went to MIT. I went to Berkeley. But you don't need to be alum to be part of our organization. It's a fun organization, a lot of really interesting people. And I find that people who come to our events say, you know, I really enjoyed your program, but the other thing that I enjoyed as much was meeting the people at the programs. So the people who come to our programs, I think that you'll find very exciting. Next slide. I want to talk a little bit about our flagship programs. That's one of the things that really makes us unique here in the Houston community. We try and have an impact on the community by putting together programs that are interesting, have impact, and I think are inspiring. I like to think of us as we're aspiring to be a TED Talk type of organization. And some of the programs that we put together, I think, are coming very, very close to that. These are some of the upcoming programs that I'd like to make you aware of. On November 12th, today, we've got the weather program. But on January 13th, we have a business forecast luncheon at the Federal Reserve Bank here in Houston. We got a senior economist from the Federal Reserve and also a senior economist from Compass Bank who will be looking back what's happened this last year and then looking forward to what's going to happen in 2015. Very good perspective. We've sold this program out for the last 2 years. So if you're interested in attending this program, which is phenomenally good, be sure and get your reservation in early. We will be opening up reservations next week. The next thing we have coming up is in February, and we have Professor Sadoway from MIT. And he's going to be talking about battery and energy storage, which is very pertinent, particularly to a lot of these clean energies like solar and wind. It's got a ways to go, but there's a lot of exciting things that have happened in that area. And I think that Professor Sadoway is a great speaker. He'll give you a very good perspective on that. In April, we have a program coming up on DNA testing and the implications for genealogy and anthropology. I don't know if you've followed the advances in DNA testing. The price has come down way down for being able to do the testing. The information you get is fantastic. National Geographic is doing DNA testing around the world to map out migration patterns of people from eons ago. It's really amazing what you can learn from DNA. And we have Bennett Greenspan, who started the first commercial DNA testing for genealogy company. He's here in Houston. He started his company in Houston. He's going to be talking about the technology and his experience of starting up his company. We've got other great programs coming down the pike. I'm going to mention one on education. We're working with the Indian Institute of Technology, the alumni group. I'm putting together a program in innovations in education. And we just got word from Channel 8 that they would like to record and broadcast this program. So I think that you're going to find that actually a very fantastic program. We've got a lot of good ideas for speakers in this program. Bonnie Dunbar from the University of Houston, who's a former astronaut, will be also working with us and be one of the speakers. But we're also looking to get an MIT professor. Hopefully we can get Agarwal from MIT, who is the CEO for edX there at MIT, which is this massive online education courses. So we got a lot of good things happening there, and Channel 8 wants to broadcast that. We've got programs on future fresh water scheduled for May. We're working on putting that together right now. But water is probably going to become almost more important than oil here in the future. Because it is so critical to civilizations, and the shortages are coming. So we're going to take a look at that. We had a program about 4 years ago with National Geographic that was just fabulous, and I think we decided that we needed to do an update on that. We're going to be looking at programs on detecting killer asteroids that are on a collision course for Earth, 3D printing, and a lot of other good ideas. So stay tuned to what's happening here at the MIT Enterprise Forum. The programs we have, I think that you'll find is just being fantastic. Okay, next slide. The other thing I want to mention is that we do have videotapes of a lot of our past programs. We're videotaping tonight so that the Houston community will be able to learn more about weather, and it won't be just this audience. But I think that's an important part of what we do because we're really trying to have an impact on the Houston community. We've had a program in shale gas fracking, which I thought was just absolutely fabulous. It's posted on our website. Bob Metcalf, who's actually an MIT alum, came and Russ Capper interviewed him. He co-invented the Ethernet and started 3Com, but his story was just fascinating. We've had a program in social entrepreneurship with the Ashoka Fellows from around the world that was recorded by Channel 8 and broadcast on TV last December. And that was probably what I would say is our top video, because Channel 8 edited it and it really turned out really nice and it's very inspiring. Rafael Alvarez, who's here from the Houston community, was part of that, and he's been identified as one of the top 30 social entrepreneurs in the world, and he's here in Houston. But what he's been doing here in Houston is just fabulous. We've had programs on regenerative medicine, and the number of compliments we received on that program is amazing, and you can see that on the video. Our program on big data was sold out, and we got that on video. And then Rod Canyon, we had him last June. We videotaped it as a program with Russ Capper interviewing him. Rod said that was the best interview he's ever given on Compact Computer and what happened there. And if you watch the video, you'll see why he said that. It just went so smoothly, and the story just laid out very nicely. Russ Capper had been working for IBM and had become an actual distributor for Compact at one time. So he knew what questions to ask, and it was just a fabulous interview. So if you haven't seen any of our videos on our website, I would suggest looking at that. Next slide. The other thing I want to do is say thank you to our sponsors. We couldn't do programs like this without sponsors. Sponsors are very critical to us. We're an all-volunteer organization, and to put on programs like this and organize that and have administrative help to put on the programs, you can't do it without sponsors. So sponsors are very, very important to us. I'd like to thank MRE, Westlake, Oil and Gas Journal, Houston Business Journal, Unleaded Communications, Comcast, BBVA Compass, Wells Fargo Advisors, Farnsworth and Von Berg, Bank of Texas, the Business Makers Radio Show with Russ Capper, Brandit, and Houston Patent Law. And then the MIT Alumni Club is also has been sponsoring us as well, so I want to say thank you to them. They're probably the most active MIT Alumni Club in the nation here in the Houston area. Garmin Advertising, they take a lot of our photographs. And then Cindy Stevens of Good Writers, who does a lot of our newsletters. In particular, I'd like to point out Channel 8 and Houston Technology Center. Houston Technology Center has been very supportive of us in allowing us to hold our new venture clinics there at the Houston Technology Center, and we really appreciate their support. We've also had some of our past programs there as well. Now, if you don't see your company up here, I challenge you to think about whether your company should be up here. The MIT Enterprise organization is a great organization to be involved with. We support the Houston community. We try and inspire the Houston community, and like to have your support in helping us do that.